Broadcasting live across the southern plains from the tornado bunker in the McRoof World Headquarters. The McRoof Radio Network brings you home repair McRoof style. I'm Rick Allen Lippert, muffled behind a mask this morning, here with restoration specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCullum.
Good morning, sir.
Retro Radio Randy is back on the other side of the curtain.
Thank God. Howdy do.
Oh, my God. As the wizard who will answer the phone when you call 405-656-5868. We'll start the show with our trivia question and the tool of the week. And as always, we're taking your home repair questions. That number again is 405-656-5868. In the second half of the show, we'll have our horror story. Hey, Scott, do you have a title for this week's story?
Well, let me see what I came up. Well, Myrtle, he said he'd be done by Friday.
Well, I think I've heard that story before.
Yeah, I bet you have.
Then in the third half of the show, we'll have our After the Storm tip, and we'll wrap up with some very wise words from Scott's dad.
Yep.
And coming back from break, some very obscure historical trivia. I mean, really obscure today. The McRoof Radio Network includes KOKC in Oklahoma City, KNSS in Wichita, KPNS in Lawton, KAKC in Tulsa, and now KALV in Alva. And, you know, if you want to listen online, I think you can go to just about any one of those stations' websites and click on the Listen Now, and you can listen online. Wherever you are, you can call 405-656-5868. And I think you can also get to us on the iHeartRadio app.
There you go.
I know through KOKC, maybe KAKC, but I know KOKC. And on the Odyssey app through KNSS. So let's get on with our trivia question. What do you have, Scott?
Okay, here we go. The quickest cold snap in history. 45 degrees in 15 minutes. The temperature fell like a rock.
Wow.
Occurred on, no, not June 10th, January 10th.
Oh, that's it.
January 10th.
That handwriting of yours.
1911. In which U.S. city?
Okay.
We're looking for the U.S. city with the quickest cold snap in history.
You know, I was looking at the weather forecast for the coming week, and I saw we're going to have another cold snap.
But not like that.
Not like this. You know, it's going to be a day or two. But this was, you know, and it's going to be 15 degrees. But this was 45 degrees in 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? That's what you call like a rock.
Boy, no kidding. January 10th, 1911. So I doubt if any of our listeners were...
It didn't have to bundle up and snuggle up to mama that day, no.
I wonder how quickly it rose after.
Oh,
how long it stayed. I don't know.
I didn't go that far. I was cold when I was looking for trivia this week, so
Boy,
I
no
was thinking of that.
So what city? And you know, the name of the city... there's a clue in there. When you think
don't get carried away here now. Come on.
Oh, that's a pretty obtuse
That
thing.
is amazing, isn't it?
All right, so I chose a tool of the week. I've actually been holding this one for a few weeks. I put it on our Home Repair McRoof Style Facebook page a couple weeks ago, but it is the Blue Hawk 12-inch shrub rake.
Okay.
Now, this is
12 inches wide?
Yeah, 12 inches wide. So it's really good for reaching into those tight spaces between shrubs for your winter cleanup. Or if you want to get the rest of the leaves out before, it's not something you want to do necessarily today, but as you clean up the yard and get ready for spring, this is a really handy thing.
It's going to be 50 today. That's going to feel like spring after the last few days.
Boy, so, I tell you, this was a good week for me to spend indoors.
Just not for the reasons that you did.
I came down with the crud, and when I say crud, I mean crud. And but I got the all clear from my doctor, and all I can say is he praised me for having both of my vaccines and the booster, and I told
Yeah.
him I was ready for shot number 4.
Yeah.
Bring it on, because
Well, I've read a lot of stuff, and we've got a number of folks that have been impacted here in our office, and so it kind of changes our landscape day to day. But I've done a lot of reading and picked up an article. I think it was someone from Integris actually had put out,
okay,
kind of saying that by the 25th of January
okay,
was kind of a line in the sand that they had drawn in terms of Omicron surge or
right,
whatever, and that at that point we should begin a very, very, very rapid kind of de-escalation of that situation.
I'm
And
ready.
that by the time we get to spring, and very, very positive outlook. By the time we get to spring, we're going to really be enjoying things, and summer's going to be beautiful this year. So let's just hope that this wasn't all pie in the sky, that that's really what happens. But I think there are a lot of reasons. You know, he was talking about that the reason that Omicron rages the way it does is because it actually lives in your nose.
In your nose, yeah.
Okay. It doesn't have the ability to attach to people's lungs the way the other variants did.
Right.
So therefore not as severe a consequences, hopefully, for most folks who don't have other issues.
Right.
But that's the reason that it's so prevalent, so rampant, is because it lives in your nose.
Right.
So
Anyway. I can attest.
You can attest to that? Yeah,
that's
well.
where it seems to fit. Excuse me. Although I do still have some congestion. So even though I wasn't down at Carpenter Square Theater all week, I chose wisely to stay away. They have now taken delivery of the square tubing for the drink rail. So these are 22-foot long sticks of 1.5-inch square tubing, and the guy is actually welding today to start making the drink rails for every row.
Okay.
So in addition to having really comfortable seats with extra leg room, there'll be a row of a shelf in front of every row of seats where you can set your drink. And then underneath, in front of every seat, will be a purse hook. So you won't have to put anything on the floor.
So is this, y'all serve adult beverages?
We do indeed.
You do?
We
Wow.
do.
Oh, I
We
didn't
do.
know. I didn't know.
We
Okay.
serve soft drinks and adult beverages.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
and always have.
Okay.
And so that's what's going on down there now.
So did the electrician?
No, not yet.
Okay, all right.
I'm still working on that.
Okay, I understand.
But it was cold this week, so you didn't get a lot of roofing done on that.
I tell you what, the guys were the only thing that they were really able to do. We had a couple of emergency repairs. The thing about doing even emergency repairs with asphalt or with membrane roofs in that kind of temperatures, how effective was that really in terms of your adhesives and your sealants and all those kinds of things? Very likely we'll go back when it warms up a little bit. We were doing emergency repairs, and then we had a metal crew actually braved the cold.
Oh my!
A couple of days. Now they weren't out there every day,
right?
But they did get back on roofs yesterday, doing metal roof installs, and just trying to wrap some things up. So yeah, it was a pretty slim week as far as production around here. So we had a lot of training going on, some McRoof training and some credential training. For Certainteed, for some of our new folks,
right.
Had all the computers. It's nice that we had, it was actually nice that we had a few people who weren't in their offices this week, because then we got to bring the guys from the back, from the warehouse, their offices out there. There's heat. It's not like they're in the cold, but it's not comfortable as it is inside.
Right.
And so we got to bring them in. Carly went in and disinfected everyone's offices and cleaned off their computers and seats and desks and everything, and then we got our folks in there sitting at people's desks, and we were all together this week. Nice and close.
Very nice.
Anyway,
indeed.
But got a lot of. I know we had people working on master shingle applicator. We had people working on quality specialists. We had people working on Flint Elastic, which is our peel and stick membrane roof system. Had
Right.
them working on Flint Elastic training. I think we may have had some coatings and steel training going on too, but we had a lot of stuff going on this week training wise. So
All right.
good week in that regard. That's what wintertime is for. We don't have really any down days where nothing's going on. We're always trying to build the value for our consumers. So,
All right.
all right.
Hey, I want to remind everybody that our trivia question is still hanging out there. The quickest cold snap in history, a 45-degree drop in 15 minutes.
47.
47 degrees.
Yep.
Occurred on this date on January 10th, 1911, in which U.S. city?
And I'll give you a little bit more information.
Okay.
The temperature went from 55 degrees to 8 degrees in that 15 minutes. 55 to 8.
Wow.
In 15 minutes. So,
Wow.
I mean, I lived in the mountains in New Mexico, and I went to school on the plains in eastern New Mexico,
Right.
where that wind blows and
Oh,
those
yeah.
fronts come out over the top of the Rockies and blowing across the plains.
Yep.
And things drop, but I never saw anything close to that. I mean, I know I've seen 25, 30 degree drops
Sure.
in 15 minutes, but 47 degrees, wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
I can recall being out sailing on Lake Hefner in Oklahoma City and seeing a front come in and a big temperature drop, 10, 15, maybe 20 degrees in a short period of time.
And you feel it on the water too,
Boy,
when that
you
wind's
sure
blowing
do.
across that.
When the
feel
wind
it.
shifts and you go,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, I better get in.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so
Well, you didn't tell us. Did you finish with your tool of the week? How much was that puppy?
$13.
$13.
I got it at a big box store that
Okay.
uses blue as their color, and
Okay.
I've used it quite a bit. I even used it up on my roof when I needed to get into some of the tighter areas because I have odd angles and stuff up there, and trying to get the organic matter
Now,
off.
how long is the handle on this thing?
5 feet, maybe.
Okay, because I was going to say I've got some things around my house that will get you.
Yeah.
I've got some hollies.
Oh, yeah.
I've got some hollies. Got some barberries.
Yeah.
And so I need something that you don't have to physically get over there.
Exactly.
And so
Yeah.
okay.
Well, and as I get older and older and older, I don't want to be bending over as much to scoop things off the ground anymore.
So is that a plastic rake or a metal rake?
It's a plastic handle. It's a
Okay.
plastic rake
Okay.
with, I think, a plastic
Okay.
handle, or maybe a metal handle.
Okay.
But it's a plastic rake head.
I got you.
And gosh, the thing just is just a thing. I actually got it to scrape the leaves out from underneath my firewood rack.
Uh-huh.
I have a couple of
Right,
ricks
right.
of wood, and they're up off the ground.
And those leaves.
gather under there, and
Yeah.
I wanted to clear that out, and it worked beautifully.
Well,
for
I tell
that.
you, I was looking for a tool for you yesterday, and what I was looking for was cold weather work gloves.
Ah,
The reason that I didn't send that to you is because I was going and I see something that really looked interesting to me. I found one that was touch sensitive, so you could use your phone or your iPad
nice.
or anything else, which I thought, man, that's great.
yeah,
But then I went and read the reviews, and the reviews were so mixed
Right.
about, these really aren't cold weather gloves, really not waterproof to do. So and it just seems like I went through 4 or 5 different manufacturers of gloves, even some of the Carhartt gloves, which I assumed would be really great gloves.
right.
The reviews were so mixed that I just didn't feel comfortable sending it to you.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, and with that, we'll take our first break. We'll be back on the other side. Hopefully someone will call in with the answer to the trivia question to 405-656-5868. What was the location, the city where the quickest cold snap in history, 55 degrees down to 8, happened in 15 minutes back in 1911? Excuse me. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. He's restoration specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCullum. This is the McRoof Radio Network.
Hey folks, Scott McCollum here for my good friend Brad at Brad's Heating and Air Conditioning. I'm sure by now that you've had somebody out to take care of that heating unit for you, because if you haven't, you sure got some issues going on right now. If you're having any kinds of problems with your heater, get Brad out there to take care of you. They've been serving the greater metro for almost 40 years. They do installation and service of all brands of heating and air conditioning equipment. They are a certified American Standard dealer. We've had great reviews. They got great reviews online from their customers. We've had great reviews from McRoof customers who have listened to us and have chosen to use Brad's Heat and Air for that furnace checkup to get all those air quality issues taken care of. Give Brad a call. The number is 405 799 7823. 405 799 7823 or bradsheatandair.com. Tell them McRoof sent you.
Hey, Scott, I have folks tell me all the time that they can't find anybody out there to inspect their roof or to just fix a leak. You started Roof RX to remedy that issue, didn't you?
Well, I did. Roofers are in the business to replace roofs. They're not in the business to inspect, repair, or maintain them.
So what's so different about Roof RX then?
Well, Roof RX is a standalone company totally separate from McRoof. The inspectors are trained professionals armed with knowledge and technology. They are not roofing salespeople. Our repairs are guaranteed for life, and we offer a money-back guarantee.
Wow, that sounds great, but I'll bet you're booked up for months out.
No, sir, we're generally no more than a week or so out, and of course we get on emergencies a whole lot faster than that. Get on our list by calling Carly at 405-877-ROOF or online at roof-rx.com.
Homer Stacy was a wholesome, good American kid from Texas. At the age of 18, he enlisted in the United States Army and was stationed at Fort Bliss, Texas. Homer was fascinated with aircraft, so he went to flight school and became an Army Air Corps pilot. Homer Stacy was the pilot of a Convair B-24 Liberator, the Yankee Doodle Dandy. November 11, 1943, Homer and his crew, along with 31 other bombers, flew a mission to destroy a ball bearing plant in occupied France. On the return trip, a mechanical failure caused the plane to drop out of formation, leaving the Yankee Doodle Dandy vulnerable, and shortly thereafter, 7 German Me-109 shot the plane down near Andano, Italy. 4 crew members were killed on board. The others parachuted. 1 was captured and taken prisoner. Homer was among the remaining 5 who made it to Switzerland and returned to duty. Homer Stacy survived World War II, the Korean War, and retired after 21 years of service with numerous awards and citations, not to mention the Purple Heart. Homer Stacy. Homer Stacy McCollum. Scott McCollum's dad. Scott McCollum is McRoof. McRoof is owned and operated by the McCollum family, an honorable, trustworthy red, white, and blue family. If you want to improve or repair your property, call 855-766-3405. Ask for a no-cost roof assessment and home inspection. That's McRoof, 855-766-3405. That's McRoof.
And Home Repair McRoof style, back on the air for the second half of the show. Today is January 22nd, 2022. This is show number 201. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. We're live in studio with restoration specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCollum. On this date in history, 1908, Katie Mulcahy is arrested in New York City for lighting a cigarette. She was violating the one-day-old Sullivan Ordinance banning women from smoking in public.
Wow.
She was fined $5. She went before the judge and said, I've got as much right to smoke as you have. I've never heard of this new law. I don't want to hear about it. No man shall dictate to me. And the mayor vetoed the law.
Oh, that's funny.
Also on this date in 1964, the world's largest cheese was manufactured in Wisconsin for the New York World's Fair. It was 15,723 kilograms. So the quick math in your head, do it quickly. Ding, 4.5 pounds. All right, so I think we have a couple of callers on the line. We'll go to Dave first. And here we are. Hello, Dave. Welcome to Home Repair McRoof Style.
How are you?
We're good, Dave. How you doing?
I'm not dead yet.
Good deal. Me neither.
All right. Do you have a shot at the trivia question?
I do. I want to tell you it's Rapid City, South Dakota.
That's it.
Hey, Dave, way to go. Now, Dave, you weren't around on that day, were you?
Just missed it by a couple of days.
All right, sir. Well, we have got a couple of books for you to choose from. I've got the Raving Fans sitting back there on my shelf, which is our old standby. I've got the Coaching Habit back there. I've got a new book that Trevor told us about last week called The Like Switch, which is about the 4 elements of relationship. Really interesting. I got about halfway through that this week. And then I've got a new book that's on my desk that I'm just getting into, Hero on a Mission, about having a little bit more meaningful life. So anyway, Dave, does one of those sound like something you'd be interested in?
Raving Fans. I've always wanted to read it.
All right.
Like a good one.
It is a good one.
So-
it is a good one.
So, Dave, I'm going to send you back to Retro Radio Randy so he can get your vital information. But before I do that, do you have a home repair question for Scott?
I do not. Not at this time, though.
Okay.
Where are you calling from?
Wichita.
Very good. What's the temperature up there today?
It's going to be 52 is what I'm
Good.
told. It's
Yeah.
absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. No wind, sunny.
Yeah,
Great day.
it's going to be about 48 here, but that's going to seem like a beautiful spring day after what we've just been through. Well, enjoy it, Dave. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you as always.
You bet. Thanks a lot.
All right. And we're sending Dave back, and now let's go to Dion. Hello, Dion. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Now, Dion, we already have a winner for the trivia question. What was going to be your guess?
My answer was going to be Rapid City, South Dakota, plunged 47 degrees in just 15 minutes on January the 10th, 1911. And no, I was not alive.
Oh, that's funny. Well, man, I'm sorry that Dave stole your thunder, Dion, but where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Cleveland, Tennessee. It's 20 minutes north of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Cleveland, Tennessee. And how are you listening to us today?
I'm listening on iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio. Cool.
Thank you. That's wonderful.
All right. Well, Dion, do you have a home improvement question for us today, or you have a little tidbit about something you want to share with us?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'll call them has any questions.
You do that. Call back if you have a question.
All right, Dion. We appreciate you listening and appreciate you calling. You have a good day, sir.
You too.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, how nice. Cleveland,
hey,
Tennessee, near Chattanooga.
I gotta come clean. Dion is my nephew.
Oh.
And Dion is my nephew. He is in Cleveland, Tennessee.
Okay.
He is my sister's son,
Okay.
Kathy Markham,
Okay.
and her husband Bob Markham. And really appreciate Dion listening in. And great young man, just graduated from Broadcast Meteorology School.
Ooh, good for him. That's
at Southern Mississippi.
Ooh,
And
there's a whole lot
just
more
graduated.
math in there than you can ever imagine.
Just graduated. He's really fascinated by weather, storm
Good.
chasing,
Yeah.
things like that. So kind of looking at maybe getting him into this part of the country.
Well, we have weather around here.
We have weather around here, don't we? We have broadcasting around here.
Well, we
have
do.
all kinds of things
Well,
around
and
here, so.
Mississippi has turned into a new tornado alley.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that before. How Tornado Alley, the weather patterns have really shifted.
To the
you know,
east.
Yeah, exactly, to the east and to the south.
Yeah.
From where traditionally we considered that.
Right.
So, anyway, but yeah, I'll be honest. That Dion was my nephew, but we still appreciate him calling. Hey, I almost forgot. I've got a good friend. I hope he's listening this morning. Joe, up in Wichita. Joe was actually hospitalized on Wednesday or Thursday with COVID.
Oh,
So, Joe, I hope you're listening. I hope you're doing well. Thoughts and prayers with you. And, I'll try to reach out to you after the show, and maybe you and I can talk or text today, okay? All right, that's for Joe in Wichita.
hey, I wanted to let you know, because I don't know that I have officially told you, but the website for the McRoof Radio Network is live, and
Yep.
up and running, and fairly complete.
And I saw that. You sent me, I think you sent me a link the other day, and
Okay.
I looked at that and actually spent a little bit of time with some ideas on there
Good.
for us as far as how we want to kind of have our tool of the week and have our archives on there. And
Yeah.
then I thought we could have some dad's wisdom on there.
Oh, sounds great.
And then we'll have a reference list on there, or a recommended, professionals I recommend kind of
good.
thing on there
Oh, good.
that we can develop out for folks. I know that's something people have asked us about quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then we might kind of play that into some current events kinds of things.
Okay.
If there's a new product, or there's a new development in the marketplace, or there's a big change insurance wise in one of our surrounding states or in Oklahoma that people need to be aware of, where they can actually go there and get current events, relevant information about what's going on. And then we're going to work, I think that'd be a great place for us to work with Hail Trace
Yeah.
as far as all the weather developments and things that occur, really year round, but certainly
Right.
coming up this spring. So,
Okay.
Anyway,
Well, very good.
yeah, thank you for that.
So those of you listening who might want to find that, just search for McRoofRadioNetwork.com, and you'll see what we're talking about.
You
there.
got all the stations listed on there?
I do.
And now, have you got hyperlinks or anything? They click from that station and go and see what their programming is?
I haven't done that yet,
Okay,
because
so
I haven't decided do I want to send them away from our website to a radio
Yeah, I
station?
understand.
But I do plan on putting the show archives on there, and there's one on there right now. We're streaming today on our YouTube channel, on the Home Repair McRoof Style YouTube channel.
Okay.
So
Well,
today's show will be on there as well.
we could certainly hyperlink them to McRoof or to Roof RX.
Well, I do have that.
Or even to Lippert Media for that matter.
Well,
so.
okay. I do
So,
have
anyway.
the links connected to McRoof.
A work in progress.
Yeah. Oh, golly, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Hey, Randy, here's your heads up. It's time to get scary. Now, boys and girls, this is the time of the program where we get the horror story out there, a segment that we like to call. And the title of this week's horror story, if I recall, is Myrtle.
He said he'd be done by Friday.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, actually, I have Scott Jr. to thank for this horror story, and it really is true. You guys know, kind of our world is a subcontractor world, generally speaking. Okay, we do some things ourselves, but generally speaking, we're reliant on subcontractors.
Right.
And so we all know what the weather was like, not this week, but the week before. We had some decent weather,
Right.
some good weather. And so we were, as I told you, it was still cold, but it wasn't that cold. We were working on some metal roofs. And we had a metal roof that we certainly had every anticipation that roof would be done by Friday. Now,
Right.
this is Friday a week ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it became pretty apparent by Wednesday that roof really wasn't going to get done by Friday, even though the subcontractor continued to insist to us that it was going to be done by Friday.
Oh, boy.
So what I have told people for 40 years, okay, I will never lie to you, but I will tell you many, many things that will not end up working out exactly the way I described to
Sure.
you, okay? And that's because we live in a world where we rely on every kind of subcontractor. We're subject to every kind of weather the good Lord can throw our way. We're subject to the whims and fancies now in the post-COVID or the COVID world of all the distribution issues and things like that. We simply have people who tell us, as an example, we have your order sitting here. Yes. We can deliver it on Monday. Yes. Okay. And we do this. We're going through this on Thursday, Wednesday of the week before. Call and confirm to our client, is it okay for you for us to be there to do this? Yes, everything's fine. Sprinklers off, dogs put up, gates open, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Where do you want it on the driveway? Do. We'll be there to meet it. We get there on Monday morning, and half of our order shows up.
Uh-oh.
Okay, we've already checked. We've already been told. We've done our due diligence. We've been guaranteed that they have our order, and yet they don't have our order. Okay? So I didn't lie to you. I just told you what someone else that I rely on was telling me.
Right.
And it ended up not to be the case. So, as you can imagine, Friday a week ago, Monday was a holiday.
Right.
Okay? And then what happened to our weather after Monday? It went
south.
straight downhill, fell like a rock again.
Right.
Okay? And so what we thought was going to be done a week ago is just yesterday getting done. Well, this was a homeowner, and certainly my apologies, but this was a homeowner who absolutely wanted to take off work or work from home and be present while we were at his property. And
Right.
I understand that.
Sure.
I do tell people it's not necessary. We don't, we have someone there. We supervise our own work. We'll have hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of photographs for you to show you everything that was done, how it was done, this, that, and the other. But some people just simply feel they have to be there.
Right.
Okay. This was not a good time for that to happen. Okay.
Yeah.
So a customer who expected a job to be done in 3, 4, 5 days, their job carried out into 2 weeks. I don't say on that it's, a result or that anyone did anything wrong. It just is what it is.
Right.
And so I'll just say it again. 40 years I've told people, my customers, my clients, I will not lie to you, but I will tell you things that don't end up working out exactly as I presented them to you.
Right.
It's just the way it is in the construction business. And I think that consumers need to understand that. They need to understand the world that their contractor lives in. They need to understand the subcontractor model, and that a general contractor does not have the ability to force or direct or make someone do anything.
Right.
Okay? Don't like it, but that's the reality of it, and consumers need to understand that.
Yeah.
So, okay, so poor old Myrtle, she had to have her husband at home with her, and she really wished he'd been at work. So
Yeah. Funny how that is. Oh,
yeah.
my goodness. Hey, Bruce, we have Bruce on the line. We need to take a break, so I'll tell you what. Let's take a break a little early.
You sure?
And then when we come back, well,
Okay.
I don't want to rush, Bruce.
Okay.
But, Bruce, you will be up as soon as we come back from break. Want to remind everybody that you're listening to Home Repair McRoof Style on the McRoof Radio Network. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. He's Restoration Specialist and Hall of Fame Remodeler, Scott McCullum. Retro Radio Randy is answering the phones when you call 405-656-5868. This is the McRoof Radio Network.
Rick, what's that phone number for the Generator Super Center of Oklahoma?
Which one, Oklahoma City or Tulsa?
Well, give me both of them.
Okay, in OKC, it's 405-341-0341. And in Tulsa, 918-500-7173.
Folks, we'll give you those numbers again in just a minute, but you need to know about the Generator Super Center of Oklahoma. They are the state's leading dealer for Generac generators, and Rick and I happen to think that Generac is the cat's meow. We think that's the way you need to go for your home or office, for your lake house or your shop. Get the folks from Generator Super Center out there. Let them assess your needs and figure out exactly what they can do for you. You need to get on the list. Storm season's coming. I don't think you're going to get this done before storm season, unfortunately. But the sooner you get on the list, the less likely you are to have to deal with those power outages. Remember last year, folks went for up to weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, without having power restored at their properties. That's not a great situation to be in. So Generac, a generator, Generator Supercenter of Oklahoma is the company. The phone numbers again, 405-341-0341 in Oklahoma City, and in Tulsa, 918-500-7173. Tell them old Coffin Rick sent you.
Honoring America's Warriors is an Oklahoma City-based nonprofit that provides military honors and ceremonies, service dogs for disabled veterans, and multiple activities and events for the veteran and their family. When Honoring America's Warriors was established, our first sponsor and supporter was McRoof. Now, years later, McRoof and the McCullum family continue to provide financial support to Honoring America's Warriors' important programs. To learn more about our mission, go to honoringamericaswarriors.org. Go to honoringamericaswarriors.org today.
I'm Dustin Holtz, and I am McRoof. We're looking for the best talent in the roofing and restoration industries to join our team of solutions specialists. Hear what our customers have to say. Here's Johnny.
They were such pleasant young men, set my mind at ease. So thank you so much. I appreciate y'all.
Now here's John.
My hat's off to McRoof for making that happen when nobody else would touch it. You really made a difference in our lives.
And then Dean.
You really know your roofing business and you do quality work. But what sets you apart from other roofers is the people. You treated us just like family.
Want to sell shingles? Go work for another roofer. Want to change people's lives by providing quality solutions? Come join our team. Email me at dustin.holt@mcroof.us. dustin.holt@mcroof.us.
I'm Scotty McCollum, and I am McRoof. The qualities that every McRoof team member possesses are attention to detail, integrity, and a commitment to be an expert in our field. The goal of every McRoof project is to restore a home or business to the fullest extent, and in the process, we try to create a relationship as well as lasting peace of mind. We're not happy if you're not happy.
Replacement done right. McRoof.us, 855-766-3405.
And Home Repair McRoof style, back on the air for the third half of the show. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. We're live in studio with restoration specialist and Hall of Fame remodeler Scott McCullum. Retro Radio Randy is answering the phones when you call 405-656-5868. We'll get to Bruce in just a second, but I want to tell you what happened on this date in 1938. One of the most venerable of American plays. In fact, considered by many to be the quintessential American play, Our Town by Thornton Wilder, Pulitzer Prize-winning play about small-town life in Grover's Corner, New Hampshire, premiered on this date in 1938 in New Jersey. 30 years later, a completely different kind of entertainment. Rowan Martin's Laugh-In premiered on NBC television. And then on this date in 1971, John Lennon and the Plastic Ono Band recorded Power to the People at his Ascot Sound Studio. Okay, so now we have, we also have, looks like Kevin on the phone too, but let's go first to Bruce. Hello, Bruce. How you doing?
Good morning. Doing good. Yourself?
Doing great, Bruce.
Not dead yet.
I woke up this morning. That's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. As long as we're sucking air, we're doing good, right?
Oh, yep. Hey, I got a question.
Okay.
I had a storm shelter installed about 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And recently I noticed that one corner seems to be coming out of, it's no longer level.
Yep.
And I'm noticing little pops around where they had cut into the cement and between the old and the new cement. So far, what I've done to try to monitor it is I've taken flat washers.
Right.
And I throw them up at where I think it's coming up.
Yep.
And right now I'm at four flat washers, and I'm waiting for it to go to 5 where I can't slide it across anymore.
Got you.
Any recommendations or who I can contact to take a look at it?
Man, I don't know. I have, have you got, so this is in your garage? Is this in your garage floor? Where did they put this?
It's in the garage floor.
Okay. And were you there when they physically installed it?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Did they, what did they put around the storm shelter? Did they fill it with dirt or did they fill it with concrete?
They filled it with concrete.
Hmm.
And then I have noticed whenever we get heavy rainfall or constant rain,
Yep.
it feels like I'm on a waterbed when I get down there to clean it up.
Yeah, that's kind of what I know that the issue is that you've got water underneath that. That's what's going on. You don't have a drainage issue as far as water entering your garage, right?
No, in fact, we set up high, and it's one of the highest points in the neighborhood.
Okay. But what happens is, and where are you located?
In between Midwest City and Choctaw, right on the city limit.
Okay. All right. So, what my suspicion is, I mean, water, obviously there's subsurface water that migrates down the terrain. Okay. So basically the water is moving subsurface from the top of your property down to the bottom of your property. And at some point in time, that's crossing underneath where you have your storm shelter. Okay. And that's what it sounds like to me, that you've got water migrating underneath, and this is a slab foundation.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And you hear those stories of people drain their pool, and the next morning their pool's pushed out of the ground.
Yeah. I think that I don't think that this is a storm shelter issue at all. I think this is a drainage issue. And Rick, what did our buddy tell us? He's out of the business, isn't he?
I think so.
Okay, I'm trying to think of who you could have come out there and evaluate this. Let me do this. You take down my number.
Oh, you're talking about Jim Gentile.
Yeah, I'm talking about Jim.
I think water is all he does
he
anymore.
is still doing water.
Yeah, it's the other stuff he doesn't
do. Let me do this. Take down mine. Have you got something to write with?
Yes, we do. My wife's trying to write it down.
Okay, take down my number, 405-600-5587. Just shoot me a text with so I've got your contact information about, we're going to call it a floating storm shelter, and that way I'll remember what we're talking about. I'll reach out to a good friend of mine after the show, see if he's still available to do that type of consultation with you. But to me, this is subsurface water that we got to figure out a way to redirect it or keep it from getting underneath that storm shelter. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, my biggest fear is one morning we wake up and the storm shelter's up in the air and has damaged my wife's car.
Yeah, and that's why you want to get on this. I think it's going to take an awful lot of water, and it's going to take probably getting into this springtime, if we get into a real heavy, where we get one of those 4 or 5 day deals where we get 10 or 12 inches of rain, you could have a real issue with that. So monitor the weather from that standpoint. But let's see how quickly we could get Jim or somebody out there to evaluate this for you. It's subsurface water that needs to be redirected in some way. And then once that's done, then there may be some remediation needing to be done with the storm shelter itself. But we're going in the right direction, okay?
All right, and I'm just glad I noticed it and keeping track of it.
Yeah, and that's great. It's the same thing goes when I tell people, you see a leak, you see a spot on a ceiling, anything, draw a line around it, put masking tape on it, something, so you know whether it's growing and what's actually changing over time. So what you're doing with the washers is exactly that. That's great. And just, send me a text. I'll look for it this afternoon. I'll reach out to Jim and somebody will follow back up with you right away, okay?
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks
We
for the
appreciate
information.
you. Thanks for listening, man. Have a good day.
Thank you, Bruce. And now let's go to Kevin on the line. Hello, Kevin. Are you still there?
Sir.
Hello. Thank you for calling. Do you have a question for Scott?
Yes, sir. Hey, I moved in the house in 17, and I noticed there was mold growing on the inside of underneath the roof. And so basically I sprayed some Clorox up in there trying to kill it off. And then I even went down to like Lowe's and actually purchased a couple gallons of their like mold, killing the mold stuff. And so that didn't really help. I mean, it seemed like the mold just kept growing. It was a black mold actually. And so even I actually put in in the garage, actually put a attic ladder, and actually keep that open a little bit. But I was just kind of curious how mold will actually, I think I know the answer as far as mold moisture getting into the attic area. But I also put some solar attic fans in there, and that actually kind of helped to kind of moved it, but also keep the door cracked. But I'm just really kind of curious as how that mold. For the standard house that has just the regular vents in there, I've never seen that happen before. But this particular house,
So let me ask you a couple questions. Number one, you say it's black mold. Did you actually test the mold and get a test result back on it?
No, sir. I just noticed on the bottom, in the attic, on the ceiling part, it just started turning black.
Okay. All right. How big is the area?
Oh, it's getting kind of big. I mean, I noticed when I first started out, it was kind of small, and then it just started growing, getting bigger and bigger. And I'm thinking, well, crap, that's got to be mold. And
so I mean, are we talking, 50 square feet, or are we talking something bigger than that? I mean, a sheet of plywood's 32 square feet. Is it bigger than that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're talking several sheets over.
Well, what you're going to need to do is you're going to have to, what needs to happen, I'll tell you, the reason it's there is because of moisture in your attic, okay? You have mold requires oxygen, mold requires moisture. So there's something going on there, and it may just be the fact that decking is so badly saturated that you cannot ventilate it enough to get rid of the moisture, okay? But anytime somebody's dealing with either wood rot, wet or dry rot, or they're dealing with mold, it's because there's moisture, and it's a ventilation issue in your attic is what it is. So number one, I would start out by coming out and evaluating your attic ventilation situation. I would assess that mold situation, and my suspicion, and I can do this very easily with a thermal gun or camera, assess that situation as to exactly where the moisture is in your roof. And the bottom line is those shingles are going to have to come off. That wet decking has got to, you're going to have to get that wet decking out of there, okay? Put new decking down, put your shingles back on, put your roof back together, and then properly ventilate your roof, and you're not going to have a mold issue anymore. But that's what the approach would be, and that's how it needs to be addressed to permanently fix this issue for you. And I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. What I actually did, and kind of too late now, but I actually at one point I did put some solar attic fans up there, so every time the sun comes up, it really sucks out the heat.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I put one of those up there and really noticed the temperature in here in the living area. Really, the temperature really went down, and it was really sucking the heat out. But like I said, after I put that attic, the attic stairs in, that really, to keep that cracked,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that really started moving the air, and so I'm not
quite having the issues anymore. But I was really curious of why I was getting that black. I'm calling it mold myself.
Yeah,
'Cause it
yeah.
just
Oh,
doesn't
it probably is. I mean, the reason you're getting it is because at some point in time you had water get into that decking. Okay, that decking's now saturated to the point that even with your improvements to your exhaust ventilation, you're not being able to get rid of all the moisture. Obviously, there's always going to be oxygen in the attic, so that mold's going to continue to grow. My suggestion, you may have enough attic ventilation. You may have addressed the ventilation standpoint, and there may not be anything that needs to be done. That's all scientific. That's all formula driven based on the area of the attic and the conditions there. So we can calculate the ventilation required. If you need some more ventilation, we can tell you what that is and the best way to do it, but we can certainly utilize the ventilation you already have. One of the biggest misses in ventilation is intake ventilation, okay? You have to have intake ventilation to force the air. It sounds to me like you may be significantly lacking on intake ventilation, and that's the reason you're needing to leave your garage door, your attic stair open to force that air out. So I just think this is a pretty simple thing to address. Assess the situation, do the calculations on the ventilation to determine exactly what you need, remediate the immediate mold areas and the surrounding areas around them, put your roof back together, and you'll never have this problem or issue again. But if you leave it alone and let it continue, you can get yourself in a situation where you've got so much mold in your house that you're not able to remediate this thing. So I would get on it pretty quickly. This would be something that Roof RX would be able to handle for you. Number one, they'd be able to do the inspection. Number two, they'd be able to do all the calculations. And number three, they'd actually be able to do the work to get this taken care of for you. You do not want to get to a moist, muggy spring or summertime and still have that mold condition in your attic.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Kevin, if you want to follow up with Roof RX, it's roof-rx.com, roof-rx.com. And I got to let you go because we are out of time.
Thanks for the call, Kevin.
And we're going to have to forego our after the storm tip today.
Oh, we are?
Well, just because we're going to. Randy is about to push the button to start the outro music.
Okay.
But just to wrap up, roofrx.com, inspect, maintain, and repair.
Inspect, repair, maintain.
Inspect,
and
repair,
all
maintain.
all of your inspections, whether it's an attic inspection, fireplace inspection, or a roof inspection, that's who does those.
That's roof-rx.com. Okay, wrapping up with Dad's wisdom.
All right. Well, one of the things that my dad used to say a lot is that's just too much sugar for a dime. Too much sugar too much effort for the little reward, too low a price, just too much sugar for a dime.
I love it. I don't think I've ever heard that.
Never heard that. Actually, Pawpaw, that's Wanda's daddy, okay? So this is Dad's wisdom, but this is Wanda's daddy's wisdom.
All right.
And Scotty came up with that today.
And this has been show number 201 of Home Repair McRoof Style on the McRoof Radio Network.
Thanks for all the calls.
Yes. We'll see you all next week. And please, everyone, please get vaccinated. Get boosted. Take care of yourself. Take care of the rest of society. We'll see you next week.
Have a good week.